Welcome back to Car Show 1, your favorite place for horsepower, history, and head-turning machines. If you love classic muscle cars that define power, style, and pure American performance, then you're in for a treat today. Because we're throwing it back to one of the most underrated yet unforgettable muscle machines of the golden era, the 1970 Plymouth GTX. Let's rewind the clock to 1970, the height of the muscle car war. Every brand was in it to win it. Chevy had the Chevelle SS, Ford had the Mustang Mach-1, Dodge had the Charger, and Plymouth. Well, Plymouth had something special, a car that combined luxury and brute strength, the GTX. Known as the gentleman's muscle car, the 1970 Plymouth GTX offered the perfect balance between performance and refinement. It wasn't just about straight-line speed, it was about doing it in style, comfort, and with a serious punch under the hood. The 1970 model marked the final year of the GTX as a standalone model, and Plymouth made sure it went out with a bang. Let's start with the design, and wow, it's a showstopper. The body was aggressive and sleek, with sharp lines, a long hood, and that signature, power bulge, hood scoop that told you something serious was hiding underneath. The wide grille, twin headlights, and optional hood pins gave it a no-nonsense look. Out back, the blacked-out rear panel with rectangular taillights added to its muscle car attitude. You could spot the GTX from a mile away thanks to those bold GTX badges and optional racing stripes that ran along the sides or over the hood. This was a car that wasn't trying to be subtle, and why should it? It had every right to show off. Under the hood is where the real fun begins. The standard engine was the 440 cubic inch Super Commando V8, making 375 horsepower, enough to smoke the tires with ease. But if you were one of the lucky few who checked the right boxes, you could get the 446 pack, with 3 2-barrel carburetors and 390 horsepower. And for the truly brave, there was the 426 HEMI, one of the most legendary engines in muscle car history, pumping out 425 horsepower and turning the GTX into a street-legal dragster. Paired with a 4-speed manual or a 3-speed automatic TorqueFlite transmission, and a beefed-up suspension system, the GTX could do it all, from cruising the boulevard to dominating the quarter mile. And it wasn't just about power. The 1970 GTX came with Raleigh instrument clusters, plush bucket seats, simulated wood trim, and even optional air conditioning. It was fast, yes, but it also had class. Driving a 1970 Plymouth GTX was an experience like no other. The moment you started that big block engine, you felt the rumble deep in your chest. It was loud, raw, and full of character. This car was built before computers and electronics took over. It was all mechanical, all real, and completely engaging. You had to drive it, not just steer it. The handling, while not as sharp as a sports car, was more than capable for a vehicle of its size, and the wide tires gave it decent grip. But let's be honest, the GTX wasn't built to corner like a European coupe. It was built to go fast in a straight line, and it did that better than most. Today, the 1970 Plymouth GTX is a collector's dream. With fewer models produced than some of its rivals, and especially rare with the HEMI engine, it's become a prized piece of muscle car history. Prices are climbing, and restorations are becoming more common as enthusiasts bring these beasts back to life. But what makes the GTX so special is that it captured the spirit of the muscle car era perfectly: big power, bold looks, and a touch of luxury. It wasn't trying to be the loudest or the flashiest. It simply let its performance speak for itself. So if you're a fan of real American muscle, the 1970 Plymouth GTX deserves a top spot on your list. It may not be as famous as the Charger or the Chevelle, but in the eyes of true car lovers, it's every bit as iconic, maybe even more. Thanks for watching Car Show 1, where we bring classics back to life, one legend at a time. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more muscle car stories, and drop a comment below. If you had a chance to own a GTX, would you go for the 446 pack or the legendary 426 HEMI?